Spoiler warning! I'll be talking about the second episode of Black Rock Shooter Downfall in this video. But if you haven't seen the episode yet, then I suggest you watch it first and then come back here. Okay? Okay. So we continue where we left off from last episode as Strength attacks the confused Empress. She dodges every move Strength made with ease as she would ask her who she was. Strength then hurls a gasoline truck onto Black Rock Shooter, trapping her there. She shoots it, and what was funny and interesting is that she thought the truck was filled with gasoline. Now the reason why I think it's interesting is that Strength here as well is not used to the new environment, and it really proved it here as she thought she could use the gasoline truck as a bomb for her to set once she strapped Empress. Or that was just convenient. Anyways, we get to see the opening, and I gotta say, the song slaps. Seeing all of the characters on screen was very cool, and I liked Lunatic's combat gear. The opening really gives me more questions now, like who were those two kids and what happened between their last mission that was shown in the first episode. I'm sure the story is gonna get to that at some point, but right now I don't need sleep, I need answers. Oh, and it's so brief, but we get to see Black Rock Shooter with her very own mask, and I just think that's so cool. So someone was watching the battle unfold as Empress tries to use the cannon she used to beat the Spider Titan from last episode. But before it could even shoot, the weapon dissipates, and it's a really cool detail again because Black Rock Shooter doesn't remember anything. So she's using anything she can in battle without thinking things through. And that was a really cool detail to have here, not gonna lie. They make their getaway, and for some reason, the kid who was hiding behind the rubble was now driving with the colonel. The person watching from afar makes her move as well, and it's pretty cute how her bike is so small and tiny. We then go back to Strength watching them make their getaway as we get a flashback of her and Dead Master being crucified, and something was latching onto her head. We see here that she too lost her memory, but she would get glimpses of her past, and her resentment for Empress remained. So the colonel asks why Strength was attacking her when they're allies, and Empress simply repeats the word ally since she was confused herself. We then get another brief explanation of what happened to the world, about Artemis and the Elysian project, things we've already known from the first episode. But this time we get more. So basically, Artemis and the other Titans capture and throw humans onto the Iron Ocean to create more Titans. We also get to learn more about the world, like how batteries is used for currency, as the batteries are used to support their lifelines. They then enter a bar of some sorts, and we get to see the same person from earlier just sitting there. The colonel then asks whether there were any of the peacekeeping bases around the area, as the dude doesn't know. He then talks about how Black Rock Shooter is the leader of the Hemitheos unit, in which that group was made to combat Artemis and her unmanned army. The girl from earlier was eavesdropping as well. As he continues his explanation, she remembers the lighthouse number 8, the place where she was probably born. But she has no idea how to get there. Someone then joins in on their conversation, and well, how do I say this? She's really hot. Her character is pretty interesting as well. She's a hacker and a mechanic, and she has her own mapping system as well. I also find it pretty funny how Black Rock Shooter just orders a ton of food. While we go back to Monica, as she says her reward for helping them get back to the base is simply to study Black Rock Shooter and her bike. As she drools over her mouth from just watching her, he then calls her a fucking degenerate, and that was really funny. The boy then leads them to their campsite where supplies are running low, and they want Empress to go there and deal with the beehive. We also get to see the colonel's humanity here. Sure, he may be tough and serious all of the time, but he still does have a heart, but chooses to hide it. He says it's a waste of time as Black Rock Shooter disagrees. It's also nice to see her interact cautiously around the area, especially her poking the baby. That really helps build her character up as to why she wants to help them. She may be losing a lot of her memory, but she still wishes to do what's right for the people in front of her. Monica then helps Empress gather around more Archie to help build her giant cannon, or as she calls it, coil gun. So they then start their plan to take supplies and resources from the hospital as she would draw the beehive away from them. The colonel may have said that he just wanted to see how powerful Empress is, but Monica saw through him immediately as we then see Strength watching from a distance. As the battle begun, Monica, Norito, and Mia went inside to gather the resources, while Black Rock Shooter fires back using her pistol to deal them off for a while. Until they all gathered into one spot, she then uses her cannon and deals with them immediately, but not completely. As the three got the resources needed, Titans appeared and have surrounded them, but they were able to make their getaway. One of the Titans though was able to cling onto the vehicle. It grabbed Norito by the head and they both fell. Because of them being so close together, the colonel couldn't shoot. So Black Rock Shooter then comes rushing in and tackling the Titan to shoot it, until another swarm of beehives bombarded her. And we just see her on the ground. The colonel and Black Trike open fire to defend the downed Empress, but as a few manage to slip through, Strength then comes rushing in protecting her. She wonders what's the point in fighting such a pointless battle, and here we just see the two have an argument of what they believe is right. Strength then has a flashback of all of them in the lighthouse number 8. She then flees the area yelling as to why she can't help but hate her. Then they drop off Norito and Mia as they continue their journey towards their destination. Monica was concerned for Strength, but something catches her eye as she sees a photo of what looks like to be the colonel's wife and daughter. I'll get more to that later. Black Trike and Black Rock Shooter spend some time together as she gives more insight to what Empress is to her, what her job is, and it just gives her more insight about understanding her purpose now. We then see them camp in an area to get some rest, and yay, we get to see Black Rock Shooter's jacket as she then asks Black Trike about whether she knows something about the lighthouse number 8. She does, but the information is classified. Then she sees the enemies who were sent from the last episode, and the episode ends there. So okay, the colonel's daughter is lunatic from the educational institution, this girl right here. And I am pretty curious to see what happens once these two meet each other. The episode was okay, but I had a problem with the fight with Strength and Black Rock Shooter in the beginning. Yes, it made sense that the fight would be short since Empress doesn't remember anything. Her abilities, her combat, it was basically a one-sided battle. And I understand that being short, but it's just a me thing. I was left unsatisfied with that, but the rest of the episode is pretty much fine. If I were to rate this episode, I would give it a 9 out of 10. We get to learn more about how the Titans are made, the world around the characters, we get more foreshadowings, and I just can't wait to see when will Deadmaster appear. Because for now, I know that Strength and Deadmaster will be enemies for a short amount of time before joining Black Rock Shooter in defeating the bad guys. Oh, and okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here. Episode 1 ended with Strength appearing and facing off Black Rock Shooter, and now episode 2 ends with the educational institution arriving, which is going to be another fight in the beginning for episode 3. So here's my prediction on the ending of episode 3. Deadmaster appears. And that's all I have to say for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. See ya!